Many of us are taught from a young age, directly or subliminally, through scripture or through fairy tales, to be humble. It's an ever-present theme in books, movies, and TV shows that villains are selfish while heroes are selfless. This lesson is brought up time and time again, that humility is one of the most important virtues a person can have. And perhaps the reason it is brought up time and time again is because humans are in a perpetual need of being reminded of this fact. The most bare form of respect, and I would say the most important, respect for the sake of each person's existence, respect simply because we are human, is the most rare. It is a form of respect lost to those among us who are the most vulnerable and the least appreciated. And it is within this respect that the very foundation of humility resides. It is often thought that humility can only be achieved through the neglect of one's own self-image. But this is not how I see it, and this is not how I believe anyone should see it. Narcissism, pride, these are all a result of an unabated confidence in oneself and one's actions at the expense of others. But humility yields a much more powerful confidence, confidence in one's purpose. Not only is this form of confidence more sustainable, it draws people in, it's magnetic. Consequently, humility should be a virtue found in all people, especially in our leaders. Is this idea applicable to the Rotary's four-way test? I would say it is. Is it the truth? Is it true that humility is ethically correct? Is it true that humility makes leadership more effective? To answer, let's first evaluate a situation in which humility is not applied. Tipping servers, for example, is proper etiquette because tips form a server's primary income. Most people, regardless of the level of service, leave some kind of tip, and I would claim that those who don't are lacking in humility. To deny tips is to say that servers do not deserve money for their work unless they fit your standards, and to put the importance of your restaurant experience above a server's livelihood. It is to lack humility, therefore, is to not recognize that each and every person is just as important as you, despite their comparative stance on the social ladder, and to act accordingly. Given this, it is clear to me that someone who lacks humility has a gap in their moral code. In terms of leadership, the most memorable and eternally celebrated leaders practiced humility. Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. These are all leaders who moved for change in their societies and achieved great success through humility. They knew that change could only be achieved through unity and peace, and that it was their purpose, a purpose bigger than themselves. Leaders who exercise humility lead by example and inspire others to follow them. They do this because, as is the way with a humble leader, they do not lead by walking ahead of others, but rather by marching with them. Is it fair to all concerned? Humility is a virtue that stresses the need for self-evaluation and consideration of others. If we were all to employ humility in our everyday lives, those who have no voice would be heard, and those who are at the mercy of others would be treated with understanding. Humility intrinsically promotes fairness, because working for not only your own self-interests, but for the self-interests of the downtrodden, is working for a world in which each and every person experiences the same levels of opportunity. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Friendships are fundamental, and they are some of the most important relationships we can observe. And they're all based on one thing, understanding. Two people can have completely different belief systems, and yet form a strong friendship because they have a mutual understanding, and because they connect on a human level. Practicing humility calls for you to put aside materials and labels, and to try and understand every person that you encounter. By approaching everyone you meet with this openness, it both promotes earnestness and can develop friendships in places you never thought possible. People manifest worth in different ways, and by practicing acceptance that is at the core of humility, we can continue to unlock what each person has to offer. Finally, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Practicing humility in everyday life will prove to inspire those around you to do the same. What humility has to offer is a society in which people work for the betterment of not only themselves, but for others. What it has to offer is the pursuit of what is fair and just for those among us who are routinely neglected. What it has to offer is an open and honest environment where differences between people are embraced rather than rejected. The benefit of humility lies in both what you can do for others and what doing for others can do for you. Thank you.